he's always at the restaurant. And he's always working, and that's pretty much it. For as long as I can remember, I've loved hockey. You know, I'm always on the ice, and I've been beaten up a lot. But he just slipped in the kitchen. Like, come on. I'm the one who gets thrashed around on the ice all the time, and he's the one with the concussion. I mean, he's the kind of guy who gets hurt, tapes it up, and keeps going. But not this time.
All right, we're talking concussions, how we can help this problem right now. Physiotherapist, Ontario Physiotherapy Association, Jacquie Van Iersel is with us. Hello, Jacquie.
Hi, Dylan.
You're also with Core Sports and Manual Physiotherapy. Okay.
Yes, that's where I have a clinical practice.
You have a clinic. So where is that? Where is that clinic?
It's close to Carleton.
Okay, so you must see all kinds of different walks of life coming in with this issue, concussions?
Yeah, I see a wide variety of patients. I see everything from concussions to orthopedic injuries.
Okay.
Kind of the gamut.
All right, so you help people feel better?
I hope so.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's
so
my
concussions, just to be a little more specific, or we'll focus on that. I mean, how big of a problem is this?
It's a pretty big problem. The biggest statistics come out of the States, and it's something like 3.8 million concussions a year, which is a pretty significant number.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so what contributes to this now? Well, first of all, we'll get to that. What is a concussion? Because a lot of people maybe don't know exactly what it is. They think their head hurts. Oh, I got a concussion. But what is a concussion? So
a concussion is a brain injury. It can happen from all sorts of different mechanisms. We typically think of it if an athlete hits their head. So they get hit into the boards or they slam their head into the ground. Mm-hmm. But it can happen by just being jostled around. So you don't actually need a direct hit. You can also have an indirect hit to anywhere else in the body. Okay, so you don't actually have to be hit in the head to suffer concussion. So what are some instances then when you'd get a concussion by not being hit in the head? Well, you could be slammed into the boards, or if you're a hockey player and you get shoulder checked into the boards. You could be in a car accident and the seatbelt stops you and your head stops forward, and it's the jostling of the brain inside the skull that we think causes the concussion. So that's the only way you can get it, though, is jostling or being hit. Like, you can't actually just wake up with a concussion or something silly like that. No, there has to be some sort of force to the brain, something enough that causes the brain to stretch and deform a little bit. Okay. So what should parents, coaches, athletes know about concussions? Probably the number one thing is that if an athlete is suspected of having a concussion, that they can't return to play the same day. Mm-hmm. So we always say, if in doubt, sit them out. Okay. But then, so it's diagnosed, and they usually sit out for quite a while when they're actually diagnosed with a concussion. Well, it depends on the injury. So we never let a player go back into play the same day. Mm-hmm. And everybody who is suspected of having a concussion should see a physician within the first 24 to 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And then the recovery is totally different between patients. So we typically expect an athlete to recover within the first 2 to 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. So adults recover a little bit faster, so they typically recover in the first 2 weeks. And then children take a little bit longer. They can recover up to about 4 weeks. Wow. So there's obviously different levels of concussion. We used to grade it on severity, and we don't anymore. Okay. We look at what the risk factors are for prolonged symptoms. So we know if you're a young female, if you have a history of headaches, of pre-existing depression, the more concussions you've had in the past, how close they were together, how severe your symptoms were in between. Mm-hmm. Each of those suggests that maybe your recovery is going to take just a little bit longer. Okay. So when will you get better? Because I've known people who say they have concussions for 6 mm-hmm. months, a year. I mean, are those extreme cases? They are, and the good news is that most people recover really well from concussion with appropriate management. Only about 20% of people actually go on to have those persistent symptoms, mm-hmm. And there's a lot that we can do to help manage some of those ongoing symptoms. But concussions shouldn't get worse. They should recover over that typical 2 to 4 week period. But you should always recover, though, right? Most people do. Yeah. But about 20% will go on to have some persistent symptoms. Okay, and symptoms would be headache, vision issues, perhaps? Yeah, absolutely. The most common one is headache after concussion. but people present with all sorts of physical problems, so dizziness, nausea, fatigue, emotional problems, so they may feel like they can't cope, or they're a little bit more irritable, a little sad.
Yeah.
Cognitive problems is a really common one, so
Really?
they have a hard time concentrating, difficulty remembering, just feeling kind of slow down a little bit.
Okay. Now I know you obviously you help people feel better when they come to you with a concussion. I know you have some stuff in front of you here, some equipment.
Yeah.
So what exactly do you have here that would help out?
Okay, so most patients are going to recover. So for the ones that have persistent headache, dizziness, balance problems, neck pain,
Yeah.
there are some treatments that have been shown to help.
Okay.
So this would be something that I would use with someone who has, say, persistent dizziness and balance problems.
Okay. We'll have to move that out right in here.
Okay,
Right in
so
front.
I'm going to get you to try this out.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so if I can get you to stand on that for me. It's a little bit wobbly. So we have people stand in different ways. So the easiest is with 2 feet.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
nice.
No, it's wobbly, but it's manageable.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
So then if you want to challenge you a little bit more, try to put 1 foot in front of the other. So you're
Ooh.
standing what we call a tandem stance.
Okay. So like this sort of deal.
Yeah, so you want to ideally have both your shoes or both your feet.
Like right on
On
it.
it,
Okay.
yeah.
Sure. Of course.
Okay. And if we really want to challenge you, then we would get you to try to close your eyes.
Okay.
While you're on it.
What are you doing to me here? This is live television, right? So we just have about a minute left here.
Okay.
Too, so okay.
So then if
you
I
want me to close my eyes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, and then go ahead
I
and
got
open
you.
them up.
I thought you were going to throw that.
I'll
ball
take
out.
this up.
Okay.
So then if I wanted to get an athlete back to a sport where they have to throw a ball, then I would get you to try to catch. So
Okay.
if you stand in
Oh,
tandem.
you want me to do that again?
Yeah, and I get you just to try to catch the ball.
Okay. This isn't as easy as it looks.
No, it's not.
I'm no athlete, but okay. At least I did that. Okay, so what would that be helping with then?
So it's helping challenge the balance.
Yeah.
And it's helping develop some of their confidence to return back to sport.
Okay.
And it allows me to assess whether or not their balance is back in normal limits to
Okay.
see if they're ready so they're not going to
Am
be
I doing
predisposed to
okay?
injury. You're pretty good.
Okay. Where can we find out more about you and all these fancy tips?
So if you want to learn more about physiotherapy, you can contact the Ontario Physiotherapy Association at discoverphysiotherapy.ca.
All right.
There's tons of online tools, so you can go to lots of different websites. The Parachute organization has lots of information on concussion prevention, and the Concussion Awareness Training Tool has
Okay.
great resources for coaches, parents, athletes, health professionals
Okay,
to find
great.
management strategies.
Thank you very much for keeping us feeling better, and you
You're
kept me
very
safe
welcome.
there as well. We appreciate it. We've got more daytime coming up on Rogers.